So, to make long story short, we have finished the trial, big success, in October 1979. Why success? We broke the code. 160 people, men, 160, come down with hepatitis B. And I was shaking, because the day came late as in June 1980, by the way. Yeah, it takes all time. I mean, this is not just you finish the no, you must pick out the data every 160. Meanwhile, there were about 50 cases of KS. Now everybody could have said, how stupid is this, doctor? Yeah, okay, I'm stupid. My wife said it already to me, you're naive. I said, well, if I'm naive, why did you marry me? She said, because I love you. You're like balloon. You're a balloon. You don't know about the reality. You're flying. And when you fly too high, I pull you down. I like this. Yeah, she didn't pull me down in this hepatitis B, AIDS, cancer conspiracy. How could she? We sat there and broke the code. I only count the numbers of the 160 people who had hepatitis B. Know what I mean? I wanted to know, do they belong to the vaccine or to the placebo? I didn't know. Krugman, McCullen knew. They had the list. So Clyde Stevens just says a number. 503, 640. And the answer would be placebo, placebo. I mean, my lips were hanging on their lips. What is the difference between, you know, because they said, if they would say vaccine, there would be a problem. Or they say placebo. Yeah, vaccine is vaccine. Placebo is, so I looked, what is the first letter? The rest didn't interest me. Whenever they put their lips together, I said, thank you, God. But when they start like, oh, trouble, 3 times. They said, that is still in the realms of the rest was all placebo. Can you imagine 157 times placebo? Sounds boring, yeah? Placebo, 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 placebo. But to me it was like Tony in West Side Story, saying Maria, 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 placebo, placebo. I stood up, placebo, placebo. That was the hit of the New York City Blood Center. Placebo. Because the trial was a success. Yet today, I think twice, what did they do with the numbers? I don't know. And by the way, I will tell you something about vaccination. This is one on it for all those freaks in virology who think, I say vaccination is per se scientific fraud and creates on the long run the disease against which they vaccinate you. There is more and more proof of that. Read my book, The Man Who Created AIDS, and you will see the scientific fraud of vaccination. Diseases and plagues come and go. People are vaccinated, and the group that is vaccinated is not, have not less disease. It's not true. They lie to you. Take my hepatitis B vaccine trial. 160 people have hepatitis B, correct? So, 175 belong to the placebo group. You know how many we hospitalized? I think maybe I confused number a little bit with hospitalized and those who were to the placebo group. 160 people had hepatitis B. They belong, most of them belong to the placebo group. You would say now, oh my God, they have hepatitis B. Only 3 came into the hospital. What was with the rest? Hepatitis B is self-limiting disease. What is the vaccine? I know, I speak to people, they say, I got hepatitis B, I go to Mexico, I got hepatitis B vaccination, go to Mexico and get hepatitis B, and now 3 years later my liver hurts. I tell you, it is sometimes short-term effectivity, but generally it does not work. You have a lower immune output when you have the vaccine. This is a reaction to that. Less antibodies than if you have the real disease, so to speak. And that less immunity is passed on from the mother to the child, as it happens now with measles that you read in California. the children are prone to measles. Why are they prone to measles? The mother had taken the vaccine, and because the vaccine creates a lower output of antibody than the real disease, this lower ability and output of antibody is given over in lower form even to the child. And when the child gets measles, it doesn't react anymore with enough antibody. Do I bore you with this? But that's the explanation. And because you don't know about this, they can pump anything in you. It just needs a fool like Gerald Ford with swine flu to give a swine flu vaccination. Then they stopped it because everybody gets cancer. But Gerald Ford, you know, boop, boop, Mr. Awkward gets his shot. And then they ask him, well, why did you take it? He said, because of the Legionnaires' disease. They say, but what does Legionnaires' disease have to do with swine flu? And you know what the answer of Einstein racketeer professor Dr. Gerald Ford was? It doesn't have to do anything with it, but it could. And every average American said, there is some truth in it. Yeah. Isn't it time to wake up, my friends? The facts are here presented to you. What can I say? When the whole hoopla was over, you cannot imagine. They would say, well, wasn't he concerned with more and more KS from his people and this and that? Yeah. I was on TV. We had big party in September 1980. We had broken the code again to the advisory board, everything. But worldwide success. You must understand why was Merck and Company and so the producer so interested in this thing. Because they said when the Szmuness trial is successful, we vaccine everybody who cannot escape fast enough on a tree. If my 1,083 people result was good, it was good for the whole world. Vaccination is scientific fraud and creates the disease against you are vaccinated, against which you are vaccinated. This is why all the diseases come back now. And I say it again and again, and no matter, cannot be said often enough, and it is painful. For me as a scientist, believe me, my life's work is vaccination. Against hepatitis B, against smallpox in Africa. Vaccination is useless. Want me to write that for you, all professors, you all eggheads, big shots, frauds, conspirators. Vaccination is useless, was useless, and will be useless, and vaccination creates actually the disease that you have been vaccinated against. Wait and see. You don't have to wait so much. All of you who have brain cancer and other stuff is mostly related to vaccination anyway. Every honest scientist who... What do you think is this? This is donated by a doctor. It's not mine. He says, I know it's the truth what you say, but I have wife and child, and I have $1 million on the, you know, and I agree with everything. AIDS is a man-made disease, yes. But you know what? I have bypass, and I play golf. And I just want to... Sorry, but I donate to you this quote. Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Oh, don't you worry. I don't say your name. Everybody knows you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody... Sorry. Sorry. I have always here problem. The rolling, come on, thank you. I have a problem breathing. Maybe I promise not to become emotional, and I think I spoke a little bit like young man for the last hour. But I'm not young man. Yeah. Sorry, I have to take some water. Everybody was worshipping me. because I was successful, in quotation mark, with my hepatitis B vaccine trial. But deep inside, in my guts, so to speak, I knew something was wrong. And I did. More and more men come down with Kaposi-sarcoma, but also don't forget, all the time I always did this. I mean, I never saw any connection. Believe me, please, I am not joking to you. I never saw any connection. As stupid as I am, naive, and I know, little dwarf from Poland. I mean, I am used to be beat up and to kicked into the butt and here I come to America and everybody loves me. I didn't know that they would do this. Always I provided them with my pet project. Cow and sheep in human tissue culture, outcomes as is. Oh, you know, in the hours of greatest frustration, I looked at macrographies, that is pictures through electron microscope and so, of this virus. You know, this is here. You know, other men, they have Playboy or Penthouse. They have centerfold. Look at this. Ah, this is my centerfold. When I look at this, I get excited. Finally, I made the decision. After more and more men came down with Kaposi-sarcoma, pneumocystis carinii pneumonia, immunodeficiency, brain rot, opportunistic, in fact. I thought, wait a minute. Too many in this trial. Then the hoopla was over. This was after the big hoopla was over. And I had time to think. Not everybody clap me on shoulder and say, bravo, Dr. Szmuness. Oh, American company, were they happy for the billions of stuff that they could sell. Yeah. I did what I should have done a long time ago. I took 4 men that had, today you would say AIDS, that had these symptoms. And I said, come to me in my laboratory. I want to take your blood and I want to look at under the microscope. This is what I did. You say, well, why didn't do that before? Yeah. Why? I'm honest. I don't have to stay here and say that. I took their blood and analyzed it under the microscope. You know these horror movies where sometimes the fist comes out of the TV, out of the video or TV and grabs you, like, whoa. Yeah, you can keep it here because that is the effect. It grabs you. And you go this. This is what happened when I looked under the microscope, analyzing the blood of my people. When I looked under the microscope, first time, I saw this. Show it, please, because it is a shame. It is a disgrace to WHO, NCI, NIH, George Bush, Ronald Reagan, Nixon, the whole perverted crew. They knew and know about this. This is the virus that I found in the people of my trial. And it hit me. I said, wait a minute. What is this virus doing there? I didn't put it in. How do they come to a... This virus does not appear in nature. You could say, yeah, this is a man-made virus. The moment you see this, you see a combination of sheep and cattle. This is the AIDS virus. almost I say I proudly present. No. Everybody who has AIDS, per definition, I know they say AIDS is not created by HIV, and so it's true. There are AIDS-like symptoms that are not caused by HIV virus, correct. Kaposi sarcoma is 100 years old. That doesn't mean that you have AIDS when you have Kaposi. No, I don't say that. But this virus, when you have this virus, you have AIDS. This is animal virus, combined human tissue culture, out comes this. This is a cancer virus. Pump it in your head. Cancer means whoever has this virus. See, you remember the dream of Dr. Philip Cole? Somebody is healthy, gets cancer, and then he dies. But this is what it is. When you are AIDS, you were first healthy. Remember that I chose the healthy ones? And then I injected them. I didn't know that this virus was in the placebo and in the vaccine. Now, you know, I saw only one man first. I thought, well, you know, I mean, I was not the only one who did experiment with animal virus in human tissue culture. AIDS is an animal virus trained and and exercised in human tissue culture. Is a killer virus machine. Other professors did too, but isn't it strange that appeared first in my trial? Question must be allowed. Of course, they said not only do we have the one who is conducting the trial, we have the one who even is the master in doing the virus. Let's get them together and give him money. He is happy that something that is, I have to say this because who is involved, isn't it? When I was in 1968, 1967, even before, I was dreaming always of injecting homosexuals against hepatitis B. I shared this dream once with a young man in a rest home in the mountains for 10 days. He was special young man. Yes. He spoke with me, not with the rest of them. He looked at me, he said, "You are special. What are you doing?" And I said, "Everybody is worshipping him and try to get in touch with him. He talks with me, and we walk in the mountain." He was not talking, I was talking. Yeah, if you allow me to talk, I talk. I don't stop. If you let me talk, I talk in 10 hours. Because there's so much that is in me that I cannot reveal on this tape. I will have it in the book. But that man was listening to me 10 days. Yes, I was walking in the mountain. I dreaming about the homosexuals. They have hepatitis B and I can vaccine them. And that will be for my wife Maya dedicated, so she never will again have problem to die with hepatitis B or to be in danger to die with hepatitis B. Yeah. And he listened to me, this young man. After 10 days, he said to me, "Wolf, I didn't tell you that I am about to become bishop. I didn't want to destroy our friendship." And I said, "What friendship? Give me a break." Of course we have friendship, but why destroy friendship? I could care less if you are a Buddhist or what. He said, "But I tell you something, from now on, my protecting hand will be over you. You will do your hepatitis B vaccine trial. Wait and see." I didn't think much of it. I mean, we kept in touch, everything. Years later, I watched TV. Cardinal Chamberlain on the window in the balcony in Rome announces, the name of that man was Carol. And Cardinal Chamberlain announces the new Pope in Rome. And out comes Carol. I said to Mama, "Mama!" She said, "What is?" I said, "Come here." She said, "What is?" I said, "Come here. There. You know who is this?" Yes. She said, "It is Carol." Paul II. Karol Wojtyla. My guardian angel. Later he meets my daughter in New York. He says, is your father? My daughter Helena meet him. She writes, I think, for New York Times something. Says, is your father the scientist Wolf Szmuness? She says, yes. She says, say hello from me. We were together in the mountains. And didn't his dream come true? Was I prepared from the beginning? From the beginning. Set up for this so that they could conduct their cancer experiment, which they now call AIDS. I looked again and again under the microscope, and again I saw this here. This is the AIDS virus. So I checked in Africa. I getting blood from my black people where I did smallpox vaccination in Africa. I discovered this, also the AIDS virus, but this, what is this? A cow. Smallpox vaccinations. They contain the leukemia virus from a cow, but the leukemia virus from a cow cannot live in humans unless you educate him in human tissue culture. In human tissue culture. What comes out looks the same, smells the same, as the same molecular weight, purple bending, magnesium dependency, morphology, shape. It is the same. It has just had a little bit, you know, experiment, training in school. When you have this virus, they call it now HTLV1. This is a lie. They say this is a human T-cell leukemia lymphoma virus. No, this is a cow virus that became human. Otherwise, he would not take a virus from the cow and put them in you. Nothing happens. But take the virus from the cow and put them in here first, so that he has a little bit workout, then put them in and see what happens. Cow virus cause leukemia in cow, cause leukemia in human. I told you before. The disaster in Africa with AIDS and HTLV1 was this. It was cow virus. The vaccine was already contaminated. Where do you make the smallpox vaccine? What do you make it from? From cow. Right? Put the cow into the stanchion here, the cow. That is a cow. Don't know how I come to that idea, but it is a cow. So you put it into the stanchion, shape open, slice open the belly a little bit, put vaccine on it, cowpox. Wait a week. Put the scabs off in a steelless container. Dry out, and that is your cowpox vaccine. Your smallpox vaccine, sorry. Your smallpox vaccine. Contaminated cow? I discovered that they had pumped into the cow sometimes the AIDS virus. So that in that moment when you make the vaccine from it, the vaccine contains automatically AIDS. I found out that they put in the cow virus the same virus. They say everybody, well, that is from cow, doesn't hurt or so. Yeah, but this was already gone through human tissue culture. They had injected it again. They had injected the cows with whom we make the smallpox vaccine. Understand? They gave AIDS to the cows. The cow wouldn't get sick from AIDS, doesn't get sick. You understand that? The cow doesn't get AIDS. The monkey doesn't get AIDS. This is why not come from monkey. But if you inject AIDS in cow, it doesn't have nothing happen. But if you make vaccine from it and you have the blood, you have this AIDS virus passes through the cow without harm and is then indeed in the vaccine. And then when you get it, oh. Where do I begin to, you see, in that moment, I was surrounded. I felt, I mean, at my naivety, yeah, naive, I did not count 1 and 1 as 2. I don't think that is, I know Nobel Award people, Dr. Mosbacher from Germany, he has Nobel Award for electronic, atom, molecular, he doesn't know how to screw a light bulb in. Literally. His wife does it. He doesn't know how to lay the you know. track for a light, the cable. This, when you are scientists, you are specialists. Not the scientist is correct. You don't see I didn't see the truth when they made me suddenly professor at Columbia University. And I wasn't even a real doctor. Okay. What should I do? I knew more and more what had happened. They had taken my hepatitis B vaccine trial and my smallpox vaccination in Africa and had put in the AIDS virus there. They had used me on top of that trial. The AIDS virus became the perfect nationwide cancer experiment with consent. Why? Yep, that everybody who has AIDS goes to the doctor, right? Says, doctor, please, continue with your cancer experiment. Here I am, I'm breaking apart. Yeah. These are the facts. I looked at my whole life. I thought, my God, why didn't I just kill myself in the Siberian labor camp? A little rotten midget that I am. Too stupid to see anything. I should have stayed there. I thought they were asking for my authority, for my knowledge, for my... No, they needed an idiot like me. A dupe. Sorry. The one man in the United States of America that I trusted was the man that I have met several times and to whom I had a special connection, namely a phone number where I could reach him everywhere on the globe. And so I called the president. Say a word. I was also in charge for the germ warfare defensive research program and everything. I had direct number in case of emergency. Yeah, if that's not an emergency. I lay in Memorial Hospital. I'm not talking about my emergency, I'm talking about AIDS. How do you explain to the President of the United States that you gave AIDS to people? How do you explain to him this? That it was night, I was laying in my bed in Memorial, I looked at it, I said, this is the only thing I can do. This is a disaster. I know what this virus does. See, I know everything about this virus. When that spreads, you cannot find any cure. Why? Any vaccine. It does not appear in nature. Get that in your head. The morphology already betrays the whole thing. And I talk for almost an hour. This number, when I dial, he could be in the Congo. Especially there I would get him because I was in charge in Africa. Jimmy Carter said once to me, you own Africa. And I was, I was in charge, more or less, of the health of Africa. I had Great Plains, Kangwane, hepatitis B. I wanted to inject children against hepatitis B. I spoke 1 hour to the president. And I was crying. I was sometimes choked, actually. He did not interrupt much, but then after that hour he said, Dr. Szmuness, you talk to nobody about this. We will, this is top secret. I am your first in command anyway, because you are part and part of even head of the biowarfare program. So, nobody, not your wife, nobody. You wait, I will get back to you. Let me think about this. And I was like, I was breaking down. I said, thank you, Mr. President, thank you, thank you. I was like crying like a little child. Thank you, I swear you, I didn't do it. I don't know why, I'm innocent. I mean, I was laying in my bed like a little fetus embryo, talking to the President of the United States, like somebody who at any moment gets something on his back, or some punishment. And he said, calm me down. He said, I know. You think you would tell me otherwise, but I almost wanted him to say that it's my fault. I don't know why. I wanted to have some accusation, but it's like talking in the emptiness, you know. I said, but something must happen. And he said, yeah. There was one day, I think, in the same next morning came was it next morning? I don't know. Oh, suddenly I am so, I feel light. But this is beautiful. In the same couple hours later, I was so strung up, you know what I mean. Somebody came and gave me, you know, I don't always look like I look now, don't you think so? This happened in a couple of days. Somebody come to me, a young doctor, Mir, says, hey, Dr. Szmuness, I have sedative. You know, and I said, thank you, doctor, thank you. And he was joking, saying, it's a privilege for me to put Dr. Szmuness to sleep, so to speak. And we were, and I really fell asleep. But since this moment, I have always, this has happened in a couple of hours just, you see. I had problem here always, lung and so forth. But I have purples, I have outbreak, I have sometimes short breath. And I confess I got injection today too, but not, when I felt so bad, when I woke up, I asked the hospital for Dr. Mears, what's his name? And they say, we don't have Dr. Mears. Then I know. They want to get rid of me. They don't need you anymore. Thank you very much. I have got injections this month before this to get, I was a little bit hyper, and I feel already, oh, sorry. No, I can't. Are you all right? I know. I'm okay. Sorry, I begin this alone, and I do until the end. Sorry. You. Are you watching, Mr. President? Are you watching WHO? Are you watching NIH and NCI and you all do crap people? Carol, are you watching? Thank you for your help. Thank you for showing me what life really is. I will not be able to stand this long, but enough time to tell the truth, to tell everything finally. And I can assure you that. These tapes arrive. I am gone, the tapes arrive. Sorry. So, very, I forgot. AIDS is made from sheep and cattle. Man-made disease. When Dr. Robert Gallo was attacked on stage by somebody who had AIDS, because they say to him, you created AIDS. You knew about this, Dr. Gallo, and so forth. The guy who claims to have invented who found the AIDS virus. Montagnier found it from France. Yeah. You know that story. He sent a picture to Gallo. Gallo, what is this here? And Gallo makes press conference and say, I found the AIDS virus. This is how they lie and steal and cheat. When Dr. Gallo was confronted with these facts, namely, a young student, I think, came and said, Dr. Gallo, I heard about the fact that AIDS is made from sheep and cattle. I heard about the fact that AIDS is a man-made virus. I heard about the fact that this virus here, who comes out of that union, namely the AIDS virus, has a molecular weight of 160 GP for the glycoprotein. We know exactly what it is. 40 for the core, has enzyme reverse transcriptase. Oh God, I heard this is a man-made virus. What do you have to say, Dr. Robert Gallo, MD? And Gallo pinned to wrote a whole book about why I am wrong, so to speak. Yeah, won't help you much, Dr. Gallo, because millions are watching now. And millions will see now that you knew about the creation of the AIDS virus and that you are also responsible and that you are sharing with others the AIDS cancer experiment and the results. You are a fanatic, Dr. Gallo, like I was. We had the same motives. My wife died almost of hepatitis B, and I decided to discover a cure for hepatitis B. Your sister died of leukemia when you were 13. I guess Judy was her name, is that right? Oh, God. And you decided to dedicate your life to leukemia, which is cancer of the blood, more or less. And you said, there is something on record where they say about you, and if it costs thousands of dead people, we must find the cure for cancer. It is worth it. You said it. Is it worth thousands of AIDS people, Dr. Gallo? Mission fulfilled? When you were tracked down by this young man who said, Dr. Gallo, there is the secret of AIDS on the cupboard, here on the chalkboard. It's a man-made virus. What do you have to say to this? Listen what Dr. Gallo writes in his book. I must read it. He said, this is an interesting notion. Thank you for the, acknowledgement that we are not completely stupid. That superficially makes tantalizing science sense. You should have become a poet, Dr. Gallo. Wonderful. I never heard these words. Tantalizing science sense. I should keep it for my, for my memory. Since the HTLV component would conceivably provide the human and T-cell targeting capacity. With the HTLV component, you mean the cow part of the virus. And then you continue, and the Wisner component would give it its macrophage tropism. That means the Wisner, the sheep virus idea or fact would give him the long wasting effect and so forth, correct? After you, Dr. Gallo, I must raise my voice again, after you in your book, Virus Hunting, so to speak, have corroborated the fact that AIDS is a man-made disease, that it comes from sheep and cattle, after you, let me put this here in the right position so that they're sorry for this here. After you have corroborated this fact, Dr. Gallo, this fact, so, you say suddenly, but it cannot be. Oh, really? Why? Now listen to this, America. He says the problem is that HIV has been proven to have existed long before recombinant DNA technology was invented. I think, you know, am I reading right? I need my glasses now, because otherwise I must say you are either stupid, Mr. Gallo, or you might have the Wisner virus in your brain already and the brain rot begins. That could be an explanation. DNA recombinant technology, my dear Mr. Gallo, was known since 1951, since we have HeLa cells. This is how early. Since 1960, 68, Icelandic scientists and so forth. So don't give me that and say it could be, but it can't be, because AIDS was known long before this technique. I think the American word for this is baloney, if I'm correct. Now, here. Then he comes with, I expect a certain IQ from a scientist. But here comes the greatest explanation. There is only a small, he said, yes, it could be that AIDS comes from sheep and cattle. Yeah, could be, yeah. But the problem is there's only a 50% genetic similarity between the gene sequences of Wisner and HIV and of the other virus and of cow and HIV. Now, let me ask a question here. Our dear friend Sam, I did not want to insult you when you had people said, I hope you forgive me.
Are you all right?
I'm okay, thank you. I am, I just here, I lost my things. So, what he is saying, Dr. Gallo, he is saying, yes, AIDS comes from sheep and cattle, but, yeah. He says, but, this virus, the cow, as you know by now, and the sheep virus, yes, they could have been in human tissue culture, and out comes the AIDS virus. Oh, yes. After he has acknowledged that AIDS is... Show me, Dr. Gallo, where AIDS appears in nature. After he said, yeah, but it is not possible because this AIDS virus here, the product, resembles only 50% the cow virus and 50% the sheep virus. Now, Sam, let me ask you. You have father and mother.
Yes.
So, if I would take your blood and put under the microscope, I would find 50% of the genes of your father and 50% of the genes of your mother. But according to Dr. Gallo, they are not your parents. So, they are not your parents. Maybe you should ask them again. Maybe they were lying to you. Somewhere else are too. Of course you are. Of course, when you have father and mother, you are 50% from your father, 50% gene from your mother. This is basic biology. But Dr. Gallo thinks that you are stupid, that you don't understand when you read this. Of course, when we look at this AIDS virus, my dear friends, it is clear this AIDS virus has 50% cow and 50% sheep, yes. This is, by the way, the proof why he is the offspring of, as I call it here, the father. The father of the AIDS virus is cow. The mother of the AIDS virus is sheep or Vesna. I tell you now something here openly on TV, and you will soon be witness of that experiment. I will take somebody who has AIDS. This much time is left for me, sorry. You who wanted to get rid of me. God gives me that time. You can pump in me what you want. It doesn't work. I will take somebody who has AIDS. I will put his blood under the microscope, and I will photograph his AIDS virus. And I will pin it at the wall. You will see that photography, like of course everybody who has AIDS has this. So, then I will take, you will see that in somebody who has AIDS. I'm not talking about somebody who has the symptoms of AIDS, but not the disease. There's a little difference. You can have all the symptoms of AIDS, and Dr. Duisberg is perfectly all right. You can look like somebody who has AIDS. You can have all the symptoms, but you are not HIV positive. Yeah, I know that. That does not exclude that AIDS is created by HIV virus. Of course it is. Here, that is. Words have power. After I have pinned the AIDS virus of somebody with AIDS on the wall, I will go into the studio and I will take a plate, a plastic plate, a culture plate, and I will put in HeLa cell and umbilical blood and growth hormone, fetal calf. By the way, contaminated all cultures. Yeah. What is AIDS from cow? Fetal calf serum is a little cow, correct? So everything you can already contaminate with AIDS. What is milk? From cow, yeah? So watch out when you drink it. I will take the virus of cow and sheep, and I will put it into this culture. And out will come, and what comes out I will photograph. I will make macrography. And I pin it next to this. And guess how that will look? I bet my life and the life of my whole family. It will look like the AIDS virus. Yeah. Because AIDS is a man-made disease. And everybody who has AIDS is a big part of a cancer experiment. When they will be dead, the gays and the blacks, then at least the papers will write they died, but with their help we found a cure for cancer. So, there is not much time left now, and I have to come, you see, in detail. Sorry. I go in my book into it. The solution of the problem. Prevention. Yeah. The AIDS virus is very small. Rubber, condom. Yeah. You know, how big is the AIDS virus? 1 micron or so, or less, 100,000th of a millimeter. 100,000 or a million AIDS virus fit on the top of a needle. When you have the condom, and you spread it, so to speak, and you put it over the hopefully erect penis, yeah, and yeah, so then you create a natural hole. Ejaculation or so, go through. A natural hole is already 10 times bigger than AIDS virus. Don't have to be some, you know, some problem with the condom. The condom can be intact, and the AIDS virus goes through. Prevention. What do they tell you? Don't have sex. I say that AIDS is not a sexually transmissible disease. What do you say now? It's not sexually transmissible. Let me ask you something. When you are watching now, let's say I have cold, you know, and I have cold, and I have sex with you. Yeah? And we have, you know, sexual union and so forth. And suddenly, next day you call me, you say, Wolf, it was nice, but I want to tell you I have a cold. I got it from you, from sex. I say, sorry, next time I wait until I'm healthy, what, you know. But is this sexually transmissible disease? No, a cold is not. It was the close union that created the cold. What is the definition of a sexually transmissible disease? It is in the venereal tract. Syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes, you know. Is AIDS in the venereal tract? No. No. Oh, is not. AIDS is in the lymphatic system, in the blood, in the macrophage, in this and that, but not in the venereal tract. But in semen, no. Never found height of the swallowed the semen, you know. They say you swallow semen and you swallow AIDS. But just little bit of AIDS in semen, not enough to give you something. Never found in high titer you can culture in semen. But you swallow semen, great amount, you know, no problem. No. But you give kiss. You put the tongue in, you know, the intimate kissing, you put either into the mouth and the saliva, the juices, they mix. There you can get it. You put into the vagina, sorry, you know, why? It is in the saliva, in the body fluid. Anus and so forth, careful. Yeah, prevention, you see? This virus is not appearing in nature. If it would appear in nature, I would say it goes away again. What is this hepatitis or even sometimes herpes even, it goes sometimes away. It's all natural, so to speak, virus. AIDS is not. This is number one that you must understand to fight AIDS. You must understand it is a man-made virus. Why don't they want you to tell you that? Because the next question of some of you would be, well, if it is man-made, who did it? May I ask, please? You would be astonished. Ever hear of New World Order? How they get rid of everybody, but in the process, at least they find a cure for cancer? Problem. Be careful with prevention. If this virus survives out of the body, you know what I mean? They can sneeze it on you very soon, unless they listen to me. That's all I say. Prevention. Children are born with AIDS and they got it nowhere. They don't tell you that. I told you, I think in the beginning. There are right now children born with AIDS and the doctor says to the mother, do you have it? No. Father, AIDS? No. Come in touch with other AIDS? No. What do we read in the papers? When I was talking, everybody was laughing. A couple of days later, AIDS found in the waters of Malibu. Careful. The best prevention is knowledge. You have to give to, what is, we have open letter to the President of the United States in the beginning, you read? You have to go to Hillary Clinton. She is, she is a good woman, intelligent, everything. Does she want to continue this stupid line like Elizabeth Taylor and what is here, baseball hop? What is his name? Magic Johnson, yeah. Where is the magic? I expected him, thank God he dropped out of it because he knew he was a dupe. But Hillary Clinton, when you're listening, I beg you, present these facts. Prove me that I'm wrong and I'm the first one to make other video of a movie and say, I'm sorry. But I guess it's not possible. It's your responsibility now as First Lady. You want all the women and children die of AIDS? Then the first prevention and education that you have to do is to show that it is man-made and to go from there. If you have the guts, and I know you have. If you don't belong to the trilateral commission, as they say, from your husband and so, I don't know. I mean, everybody belongs to the conspiracy. In the end, I think, yeah, got this. Let's watch opera. You don't. Get emotional and I get sidetracked. Forgot what I want to say. Anyway, cure. The cure for AIDS, sorry, which is cancer. I hope by now you understand. Finally, what a price we pay. The cure for AIDS and cancer, my dear, dear, dear friends, exists already long, long time. I present in my book documents from treatments where people have become from positive to negative. That includes even certain drugs. Also with vaccination, I say, no, cannot work. I explain to you in a moment why. I present in my book, The Man Who Created AIDS, real cases of patients that came from positive to negative, from people that were healed for cancer. You see, it is this horrible problem whenever they cannot, their ideal of those who rule is to cut cancer or to give surgery or to give some indiscriminately radiation, chemotherapy. Why? Make big money with it. Imagine I put you under a machine and I give you some electromagnetic radiation. You say, thank you very much, I'm healed. And then, no more business. You can make no more money with you. I accuse here on this video those who are claiming now, the companies, to find a cure for cancer, that they actually created it. First of all, to make you sick. 1 minute every day, a person dies of cancer, 500,000 per year. And in the second, to cheat you with some faked cures that don't work. And third, to make a lot of money with you. I accuse the drug companies actually for having created cancer. First, they create the problem, and then they marshal around with a solution. That's how you do it. There was not many cancer in 1950, or in 1930 when Raymond Royal Rife already found the cure. What was the cure? For everything, and I say it today on TV, when you find the cure for the cold, you have found the cure for AIDS. Because what is the difference between cold and AIDS? Nothing. The cold virus is a virus that goes on the top respiratory system of your throat, of your breathing system, so on the top, yeah. While the AIDS virus is another virus that attacks B and T cells and destroy. That is the only difference, but both are virus. And you cannot kill them with a vaccine, because a vaccine is like you want to kill an ant with an elephant, telling him, eat the ant. He will slapper up the ant, and the ant will crawl out, even say, thank you for the nice ride. It was interesting to be in an elephant. Whoops, the ant is out. And is alive. See? The cure for AIDS and cancer is, of course, my friend, I don't have to emphasize that with you, electromagnetic vibration. They did already experiments, even couple of, I don't have to go back to Royal Raymond Rife, who cured people with cancer. I describe in my book exactly the method. What is a virus? Any virus. My AIDS virus. All this watching now. I tell you, my dear friend, my dear boy, I think I go in this camera. I tell you, when you are 10 years old, you are a little boy. Let me tell you that those who rule you created the disease that you now call AIDS. They put a sheep and a cattle virus from sick sheep and cattle into human culture, and out came the AIDS virus. It's bioengineered. So, you want to heal AIDS, then say to your generation, there's no difference between AIDS and a glass of wine. I mean without the wine. Because a glass is a crystal too. There it is. What do you do to destroy a glass? You apply a certain frequency, a mortal oscillatory rate, we call that. And that frequency will shatter the glass sooner or later. Every child knows. Doesn't need a racketeer brain. rocket scientist brain. The glass shatters. Why? The glass has a certain frequency, so and so many hertz. The AIDS virus has also so and so many hertz. All you have to do is to find the frequency of the AIDS virus, and you irradiate it, and it will literally shatter, lighten up, and will dissolve. Everything, every virus has a certain frequency rate where it falls apart, and now attention, attention. This is called already MOR. Why do I say this? Mortal oscillatory rate. That is the rate in which the virus shatters up. For a herpes is different. For syphilis is different. For a simple cold is different. And for AIDS is different. You see, the only difference between all these viruses and AIDS is this. The AIDS virus is man-made. Does not appear in nature. Always think about that. Young man who hopefully is not fooled by the world. Young boy that you are watching now. That is your future. Always remember, AIDS is man-made. If you want to attack it, you must take that into consideration. You destroy two enemies united in one. It's powerful. But you can find the mortal oscillatory rate. I will present approaches in my book also, how to approach it. That would take too long here. And once you find the mortal oscillatory rate, let's say it's 1,000 hertz. I'm just saying something now. 1,000 hertz. Experiment is already made. Brailer, I think, they put AIDS virus, herpes virus, syphilis virus, everything virus in human blood, radiate with laser light, and guess what happened? Kill the virus. I'm not selling some dreams here. Kill the virus. Everything. And the cell is not touched. Like your hand is not touched when you hold the glass. And somebody sings, oh. Sorry. That was a desperate try to sing. Yeah. If somebody sings, opera singer, you know, and glass shatter. And your hand? No shatter. That is the wonder of electromagnetic vibration. Am I telling here something new? It's an old shoe. I present to you the data of Royal Raymond Rife, who invented machine, who cured people. And then came the chef, just to show you why the AMA today and then was criminal organization. When the AMA then, under the guidance of Dr. Fishbein, who never practiced one day in his life, just to tell you that, but who likes the idea of being a doctor. When he came to Royal Raymond Rife and said, Dr. Rife, would you sell us your machine? We heard you cure already thousands of people. And Rife said, and Fishbein said, would you sell us your patent? And Rife said, no. But I work with you. But Fishbein, this egotistic little nobody, wanted, of course, to have all the stuff for him, and since he could not copy or steal it, or he tried to, but he knew you cannot copy the genius of Rife, he destroyed him. Police, FDA, AMA, you know how they work. The chief of the WHO, is it or was it another organization? His wife got breast cancer. Goddard? I don't know. He sent her to Europe, where there is alternative cure, doctor who heals. I think it was Issels or so. Yeah. And then she came back and is better now. But when you, who watch now, have breast cancer, you die. You are forced to take the stupid chemotherapy. I tell you now why chemotherapy doesn't work. No, they treat AIDS today with chemotherapy. Did you know that? AZT is an old shoe, old chemotherapeutical shoe, old drug. It didn't work. Then they had some rest parts, and they think now it works. Of course it doesn't. You know what the problem is for doctors that have left a little bit of conscience and a little bit of honesty in them. When somebody has, first of all, mammogram gives you breast cancer. woman goes to mammograms at first mammogram, breast cancer, oh, no breast cancer, wonderful. Next year she goes to mammogram, radiation, no breast cancer. After 5 years, she finds little tumor. And she says, thank God to the mammogram, because I found my cancer. But the truth is, dear lady, the mammogram gave you the cancer. After 5 years, you got it, finally, from the radiation. Wake up. When you have cancer and you get chemotherapy for a while, or radiation, for a while you feel better. You know why? It's the difference between bacteria and virus. You destroy the cancer bacteria here, and you feel really better. But what you don't know is what happened. The bacteria releases little virus, and they spread all over your body, and they want to sustain the progeny, and they become resistant. And when you get the next radiation, no way. They have spread, we call it metastasis and so forth. The cancer bacteria contains the virus. Yeah. Could go on and on. There's not much time left. Let me see my glass. So much I want to say. Oh, yeah, okay. The cure for AIDS and cancer exists. No problem. I urge you, Mrs. Clinton, allow the alternative methods to be applied. Give them a chance. But I cannot understand, I saw you on TV and all this, that you agree that we should kill people with AZT. Why don't you just give them AIDS? It's the same. AZT causes AIDS. It causes immunosuppression. Everybody knows. I urge you, allow the alternative methods to be applied. Allow people like Dr. Robert B. Strecker, who is working on, who is the authority, should be put in charge, not these corrupt people like Dr. Gallo and so, who like to drink a glass of wine that, rather than looks at a microscope. That's where he got his name Wine Gallo from. These people are just carrierists, they are opportunists, they do nothing. What did they, let me ask you, Mrs. President and the First Lady, the same people who did not find a cure for cancer are now in charge of AIDS. They didn't find a cure for cancer, they killed us with cancer, they made a lot of money with cancer. Lasker and the other dragon ladies from the Matilde Cream and so forth, from the foundations, and not only the nothing, zero result of the whole Cancer Foundation nonsense. No, but now in the zero, there is a square. And this square in the zero is the AIDS virus. They continue. With zero success, they pump the square in, put some enzyme, and just for your information, the problem with AIDS is also reverse transcriptase is a retrovirus. When this is you, Sam, this is you. I make an S here. This is Sam, who is strong and young and healthy. So now comes an AIDS virus. Not through sex, not through this. You can drink a glass of milk, you get AIDS. You can drink a glass of water, you get AIDS. You can lick your hand, you get AIDS. This is how this AIDS virus wants now to go into Sam. But Sam has DNA. And Sam DNA said, oh no, no way, you are not DNA. You are RNA, ribonucleic acid. That's the AIDS virus. And so, I don't let you in, because you are RNA. This is a protection of Sam, or of everybody. Deoxyribonucleic acid, genetic structure here. So, nucleotides and so forth. But the AIDS virus wants to get into you. He says, how can I get in there? So he has little enzyme called reverse transcriptase. With this little enzyme, the RNA of the AIDS virus turns into DNA, copies. By the reverse transcriptase, he copies you. And then he tries again, second time, you know, like you want to enter in, go in nightclub, you say, we don't let you in here, you don't have tie. Well, next time I have tie. So now the AIDS virus has tie. And you say, DNA, oh, you are DNA, come in. The AIDS virus then enters your DNA. We have now, everybody who has AIDS has an AIDS virus, an animal virus growing into the human DNA. You see? But not only this, everybody who has AIDS has in its genetic information sheep and cattle growing. In other words, you and your progeny, I'm deeply sorry to say that, you grow more towards sheep and cattle than towards humans. That is called recombinant and genetic, gene splicing and so forth. It is a perfect gene splicing experiment. How long does it take, my friends, until the AIDS virus takes even if you find a vaccine? How long does it take until the children and the children of your children are becoming sheep and cattle? Am I exaggerating? Here. This is book from Doctor of the Year, Dr. Campbell Douglas, Jr. He says that who has AIDS grows more towards sheep and cattle. Mrs. Clinton, you should read, not even if you don't want to listen to me, you should read to respected doctors. You should read their books. And you will soon understand that if you don't do nothing, you are the same dupe than I was. You are more clever than I am, just stupid. Because you can do this just with somebody stupid. You're not stupid. I'm stupid and naive. You're not stupid and you're not naive. Your duty now. You're called the First Lady. You're in charge of health. Uncover it. So, why does the vaccine not work? Why can you be HIV negative, but so positive, more positive than somebody that is positive? The answer to that question, and I close with that, is the macrophage. When you get vaccinated against AIDS, build this contingent in your cell structure, macrophage. The job of the macrophage is to chop up the AIDS virus so that the antibody can swallow it better. Like you have a little child and you chop up, with a knife, so here, you could swallow better. So, that is the macrophage. Chop up any virus. Chop up and present to the development of suppression, of immunity, sorry. Yeah, of immunity. This is the AIDS virus. Now what happens in course of vaccination? Immediately this contingent is built. By the way, vaccination, from what do they want to make the AIDS virus? Guess 3 times. From the same that I made my hepatitis B virus, in the sense. They make the AIDS vaccine from the AIDS virus. This is their plan. Are you ready for that? You say it is inactivated. But they give you AIDS. Inactivated though? But how much is something inactivated? Watch out when they come with the vaccine. What they mean is the AIDS virus itself, the protein molecule. That they separate, and like with the AIDS test, they take the protein molecule and so forth for the ELISA and the Western blot, these different procedures. And you have here an AIDS, an antibody. T cell. Where does T cell come from? Thymus, T, thymus. A couple of years ago, they thought thymus is the father of Zeus or something. I didn't know what this is. It's a Greek mythos. No, this is the thymus gland. This is the immunity developer. Everything stands and falls with it. Unfortunately, I think the AIDS virus even stronger than that. Now, when you vaccine somebody, you have this contingent macrophage called. Now the macrophage does its job, namely it wants to chop up this virus. Here, you see the AIDS virus? Wants to chop enough. And then to say, here, have a pup, have a piece, to the antibody. That would be no problem for the macrophage. Unfortunately, the macrophage never, like you and I, never met such a thing in nature. This is a man-made disease, a man-made bioengineered virus. The macrophage is suddenly confronted with a killer machine and says, oops, I cannot chop him up. Having the impulse of destroying it, the macrophage, instead of the AIDS virus, chops up the antibody. And the AIDS virus grows, sends out new signal for production. And the macrophage and the AIDS, like little, I call it submarine. Macrophage is a submarine containing the AIDS virus. You can be filled with these little macrophages. They go to the brain, they go and layer under the skin, they go everywhere. My hand didn't look like this before I here. Just to show you the shame. Make money here. Yeah, just show it. This was, I'm an old man, but this is not from disease that you get. This is, I know what it is and you know it. They injected me with it. Okay, okay. But little bit is left in me to finish that stuff. Sorry. Yeah. And so you can have the macrophage. Actually, the vaccination aggravates the virus. Vaccination causes AIDS in the sense of that you help the macrophage and the virus to grow, and you can be filled, and they go everywhere. You can be filled up with macrophages, filled with AIDS, like little Trojan horses, up to the roof of your head, your body, and you can be HIV negative. Then you have sex with somebody, you give him your macrophage, explodes in his or her body, not in yours. You say, well, I'm negative. You sure didn't get it from me. Of course. Alert. Alert. The only way when you, and I address the president, Mrs. Clinton, I don't think you belong to the Trilateral Commission or to the New World Order. I cannot think that you belong to the conspiracy. It is unthinkable for me. The only cure for AIDS is radical revealing of the facts. No accusation. Did I accuse somebody? Yes, sometimes I got a little bit emotional, but mainly I just presented the facts to you. If this doesn't show that AIDS is man-made, I don't know what. Information. Everybody talks about education, yeah? Our children. Yeah, you should not educate your children how they make anal sex, put penis in the butt, but rather than the truth about AIDS. Or how they masturbate and just here. Yeah. Okay, I think my brain is empty now, comes only bubble out. Just nonsense, so I better stop. But all I say is there is a cure for AIDS, there is a cure for cancer, it already exists, people practice it already. When you need use electromagnetic vibration, don't radiate. All you have to do, you have to check out the special vibration of somebody that has AIDS, and then you radiate his blood or his body. Not every day. Royal Raymond Rife had problem with that because suddenly the people got more sick. Why? They accumulate toxin. You do every 3 days. Wait until it can flush out. There are so many ways, but I tell you, to begin just working on the cure without drilling deeper and understanding the origin, the etiology of this virus, that makes no sense. You cannot cover up one and meekly start with the other, no. First, you have to come up with the truth, where AIDS comes from. Is this a man-made disease? That takes you to the next question, who did it? Goodbye.